Hello, I've prepared a worship sheet as usual. Here it is, and on that, which you can find on the website if you haven't got a copy, um, you'll see that the theme, I suppose, taken really from these readings, is about connecting or not connecting. I suppose you could say it's about belonging or not belonging, but I kind of want to emphasize in this service and in the words that I say is that it's possible to connect with all sorts of things in life. You can connect with things that really don't deliver much for you, that don't really satisfy you, and you can connect with things that are really satisfying and rewarding. And maybe that's what links these readings, because we have the reading from Genesis, which talks about Rebecca and Isaac, and you might say, well, what? How does that connect with the other readings that we've got today? And I suppose um, Isaac and Rebecca connect with what really matters for them. And the servant who goes and finds Rebecca for Isaac connects with God. And it's through that connection with God that Isaac and Rebecca are brought together. I think that's a really interesting story because it's a happy story. It's not a sad story. It's about Isaac receiving comfort, particularly after his mum has passed away. And then in Romans, you have this struggle where Paul is saying, I do the things I don't want to do, and then I do the things I want to do, and I break this law and I keep this law, and then I break that law, and I'm a law to my members, my body, and that stops me being who I want to be. That stops me being a person that I want to recognise, that I want to celebrate. And yet, in the end, he's able to connect with God, and he says those words, "Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord." It's a funny kind of an ending because it always feels like it misses a step when you read it. Suddenly, he's saying thanks to God after complaining a lot or struggling, talking about his struggles. Very very honest in this. And then you have the Matthew reading, and I've always found this a little bit tricky. I've always sort of tried to understand what Jesus is trying to get at. But actually, this time on reading, I have thought this is very much about being connected. In the marketplace, the children want you to connect with their game, but actually, their game isn't always the game you want to be a part of. And as adults, that continues. And this is what Jesus really, he's not criticizing the children, I don't think. I think he's criticizing the adults because they're like the children who are forcing others to play their games. I mean, as I say, maybe Jesus had a hard time sometimes as a child because he probably was quite unusual, quite a unique child. And maybe sometimes he didn't want to play the games everybody else was saying you've got to play. And that might have been quite tricky. I remember as a child playing football, and we were all lined up against the wall at Gladstone Road. And if you were the last to be picked, that wasn't a good thing. You wanted to be near the beginning because that meant you were a good player and that meant you were popular. And it's a bit like that with this marketplace story. Um, you know, society wants you to fit in, and we don't always fit in the way that society wants. And Jesus then, after talking about the children in the marketplace, and really he's talking about the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the powers that be, he says, actually, you know what? It may be difficult for you not to join in those games, but come to me because I'm not playing a game. I'm about life, about about life in all its fullness. Come to me, join with me, and I will give you rest. I'll put my arm round you. I always think of that in terms of that burden that he gives us. It's very light. Of course, it's light. It's the burden of him holding us and and showing love towards us. That's no burden at all, really. But it sometimes leads us to difficult places in our lives. And that's about living life in all our fullness too. Well, that's it. I hope you have a good week. And I hope that you find the comfort of connecting with God this week. So God bless you. Bye bye.